Simpler. What if your entire life changed not because of one big breakthrough, but because of what you did today? Not next year, not when conditions improve, not when motivation strikes, but today. What if success is not a destination you arrive at, but a standard you practice daily? You don't pay for success once. You don't secure it with a single victory, a single breakthrough, or a single moment of applause. Success demands daily payment in discipline, focus, integrity, and effort. Yesterday's excellence does not cover today's responsibility. Every morning you wake up, the account resets. The question is not what you did last week. The question is what you are willing to do now. Think about this deeply. The sun rises every day without fail. It does not negotiate. It does not delay because it feels tired. It fulfills its assignment faithfully. And in the same way, you were not created to shine occasionally. You were created to shine consistently. Your Creator did not design you for mediocrity. You were entrusted with gifts, talents, opportunities, breath itself, and each day is a sacred responsibility. When you waste a day, you are not just wasting time, you are neglecting potential that was divinely placed inside you. That realization should stir something in your heart. Success is not an accident. It is obedience to daily discipline. The world celebrates the spotlight, but it ignores the preparation. The world applauds the trophy, but it overlooks the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the quiet battles no one sees. But heaven sees. Your effort in private matters. Your integrity in secret matters. The consistency of your character matters. Every day you either build momentum or you build regret. And regret is heavy. There is nothing more painful than knowing you could have done more. Knowing you had the strength but chose comfort. Knowing you had the ability but chose distraction. That silent disappointment that whispers at night, that feeling can break a person. But disciplined silence is regret. Success demands daily payment in small actions. Waking up when you said you would. Keeping promises you made to yourself. Choosing growth over ease. Choosing faith over fear. Choosing responsibility over excuses. When you pray for success but avoid discipline, you create conflict within your own spirit. Faith without action produces frustration. Belief must be partnered with behavior. If you ask for strength, you must train. If you ask for opportunity, you must prepare. If you ask for elevation, you must build capacity. Daily excellence is your offering. When you give your best effort each day, you honor the life you were given. You honor your family. You honor your future. You honor the one who entrusted you with this journey. Excellence becomes an act of gratitude. And understand this emotionally, your family is watching. Your children are learning. Your peers are observing. Even when you think no one notices, your consistency speaks louder than your words. What story will your daily actions tell? Every sunrise is a new invoice. It asks, will you pay in effort? Will you pay in focus? Will you pay in sacrifice? Will you pay in faith? Comfort will try to convince you to delay the payment. Distraction will try to negotiate your standards. Laziness will whisper that tomorrow is enough. But tomorrow has never built anything. Only today has power. Success compounds, but so does neglect. Miss one day and it feels small. Miss 2 days and it becomes easier. Miss a week and momentum dies. Miss a month and doubt grows. Miss a year and regret settles deep in the heart. That is why daily excellence is not optional. It is survival for your dreams. You cannot control the entire year. You cannot control the entire future, but you can control this day. And when you conquer today with discipline, you strengthen your confidence. When you strengthen your confidence, you increase your faith. When your faith increases, your courage expands. Success is not something you chase. It is something you earn daily. And the rent is due again tomorrow morning. Your mood is unstable. It shifts with weather, with opinions, with circumstances, with fatigue. But your commitments, those are sacred. They represent who you decided to become. And if you allow emotion to override commitment, you slowly betray the person you promised yourself you would be. Feelings say, I'm tired. Commitment says, I gave my word. Feelings say, not today. Commitment says, today especially. Emotion is powerful, but it is inconsistent. Discipline is quiet, but it is reliable. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. Anyone can move when motivation is high. But greatness is built on the days when you don't feel like it. The days when the alarm rings and comfort invites you to stay in bed. The days when doubt creeps in. The days when progress feels invisible. That is where identity is forged. Simpler. If you live by emotion, your life will always be unstable. Some days you will work hard. Some days you will quit early. Some days you will believe in yourself. Some days you will shrink back. And that inconsistency will quietly steal your potential. But discipline creates structure. Structure creates stability. Stability creates results. Your future does not respond to your mood. It responds to your habits. When you act according to commitment, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust is power. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. Every time you break one, doubt increases. Over time, that pattern shapes your identity. Understand this deeply: emotions are real, but they are not always truthful. Fear feels real, but it does not mean you are incapable. Fatigue feels real, but it does not mean you should quit. Frustration feels real, but it does not mean progress is absent. Discipline says, I will act based on principle, not pressure. When you commit to something, your health, your business, your growth, your faith, that commitment must become non-negotiable. Not because it feels good, but because it aligns with your purpose. A purpose-driven person does not wait for emotional approval. They move because they decided. There will be mornings when energy is low. There will be days when results are slow. There will be moments when recognition is absent. Emotion will say, why continue? Discipline will answer, because I decided. And that decision is powerful. Success is not built in emotional highs. It is built in disciplined repetition. The athlete trains whether inspired or not. The leader studies whether praised or not. The committed individual shows up whether celebrated or not. If you allow mood to dictate action, you give control to something temporary. But when you let commitment dictate action, you take control of your destiny. The strongest people are not the most emotional. They are the most disciplined. They feel fear, but they act. They feel doubt, but they continue. They feel discomfort, but they persist. Acting according to commitment transforms you. It sharpens your character. It strengthens your resilience. It separates you from the crowd that waits for the perfect feeling. Emotion asks for comfort. Discipline demands growth. And growth is never comfortable. Every time you choose commitment over mood, you become stronger than your impulses. You become master over your reactions. You stop being controlled by circumstances and start shaping them. That is the power of discipline. Not loud, not dramatic, but life-changing. As long as you blame circumstances, people, the economy, your past, or your environment, you remain powerless. Blame feels comfortable. It protects the ego. It gives you a temporary escape from discomfort, but it also locks you in place. When everything is someone else's fault, nothing is within your control. Responsibility changes that instantly. The moment you say, it's on me, something shifts inside you. Your posture changes. Your thinking sharpens. Your focus becomes intentional. You stop waiting to be rescued and start building your own solution. Excuses are emotional cushions. They soften the sting of failure, but they also suffocate growth. Every excuse delays progress. Every justification weakens discipline. Every complaint drains energy that could have been invested in improvement. Ownership is not about self-blame. It is about self-leadership. When you own your mistakes, you gain the ability to correct them. When you own your weaknesses, you gain the ability to strengthen them. When you own your outcomes, you gain the authority to improve them. Power does not come from control over others. Power comes from control over yourself. If a result is poor, ask, what could I have done better? What did I overlook? Where did I lower my standards? These questions are uncomfortable, but discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Weak thinking says it's not my fault. Strong thinking says, what is my part in this? And that shift is everything. Ownership builds credibility with yourself and with others. People trust those who accept responsibility. Leaders rise because they carry weight others avoid. The person who steps forward and says, "I'll handle it," becomes valuable. The one who says, "That's not my problem," remains average. Excuses are easy. Responsibility is rare. And rare qualities create exceptional results. Understand this clearly. When you blame, you surrender power. When you take ownership, you reclaim it. Because if it's your fault, it's also your opportunity. If you caused it, you can change it. If you contributed to it, you can correct it. Ownership eliminates waiting. You no longer wait for perfect conditions. You no longer wait for permission. You no longer wait for someone else to fix it. You act. And action produces momentum. Responsibility also builds inner strength. Each time you accept the truth about your performance, your discipline grows. Each time you confront your weaknesses honestly, your character deepens. Each time you choose improvement over excuses, you become stronger. Life responds to responsibility. The marketplace rewards responsibility. Relationships respect responsibility. Success requires responsibility. Because at the highest level, no one owes you anything. Not opportunity, not recognition, not results. Everything valuable must be earned through consistent ownership. When you fully accept that your life is your responsibility, your health, your mindset, your income, your growth, you stop complaining and start constructing. You stop reacting and start leading. Ownership is heavy at first. It demands maturity. It demands humility. It demands courage. But that weight strengthens you. And the stronger you become, the more capable you are of carrying bigger goals, bigger opportunities, bigger victories. Excuses shrink you. Responsibility expands you. And expansion is power. We live in a world that celebrates the big win, the promotion, the award, the breakthrough. But what the world does not see are the hundreds of small decisions that made that moment possible. Mastery is not born in the spotlight. It is developed in the routine. Tiny disciplines seem insignificant at first. Waking up on time, reading 10 pages, practicing one skill, choosing healthy food, finishing what you start, keeping your word. Individually, they look small, almost too small to matter. But repeated daily, they become powerful. What you do consistently shapes who you become permanently. The truth is simple. You will not rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your habits. Every small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you repeat that vote long enough, identity forms, and identity drives performance. Mastery is not intensity, it is consistency. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can feel motivated for a week. But the person who commits to small disciplines over months and years separates themselves from the crowd. They understand something others ignore: compounding. Compounding works in your favor or against you. Skip practice once, it feels harmless. Skip twice, it feels easier. Skip for a month, skill declines. But practice daily, even briefly, and progress becomes visible. Improve 1% each day, and in a year you are transformed. The power of small habits lies in their ability to build momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence strengthens commitment. Commitment produces results. Think of water carving through rock. It is not forceful in a single moment. It is persistent over time. The same principle applies to your habits. Small disciplines repeated daily shape your character, sharpen your skills, and strengthen your mind. Mastery is earned in repetition. The musician practices scales. The athlete trains fundamentals. The speaker refines delivery. The entrepreneur studies daily, not once, not occasionally, but consistently. Small habits also build self-trust. Every time you complete a small commitment, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. That reliability becomes confidence, and confidence fuels larger achievements. People often underestimate tiny improvements because they lack immediate reward. But growth is not always visible at first. Seeds grow beneath the soil before they break through the surface. In the same way, your daily disciplines are working even when you cannot see dramatic change. And here is the deeper truth: discipline in small areas spills into larger ones. When you manage your time well in simple tasks, you handle major responsibilities better. When you maintain order in small details, you perform with excellence in big opportunities. Neglect small habits and chaos slowly builds. Honor small habits and excellence gradually forms. You do not suddenly become great. You gradually become disciplined. And discipline, practiced daily in small measures, compounds into greatness. Before any action is taken, before any result is produced, before any victory is won or any failure experienced, a thought came first. Your performance on the outside is always a reflection of what is happening on the inside. If your mind is weak, your actions will hesitate. If your mind is focused, your actions will sharpen. You cannot consistently outperform your thinking. If you believe you are limited, you will act cautiously. If you believe you are capable, you will act boldly. The mind sets the ceiling. And many people live beneath their potential not because they lack ability, but because they have accepted small thinking. Guarding your mindset means being selective about what you allow to influence you. Conversations matter. Media matters. Environment matters. The voices you listen to matter. Every day your mind is being programmed either by intention or by default. If you do not choose what shapes your thinking, the world will choose for you. And the world often feeds fear, doubt, comparison, and negativity. A negative thought repeated long enough becomes a belief. A belief repeated long enough becomes identity. And identity determines performance. This is why mental discipline is essential. Doubt will visit you. Fear will knock. Criticism will appear. Comparison will tempt you. But you do not have to give them residence. Guarding your mindset means challenging destructive thoughts instead of accepting them. It means replacing "I can't" with "how can I?" It means refusing to let one setback define your ability. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant will grow. Plant worry and anxiety expands. Plant faith and confidence rises. Plant excuses and stagnation spreads. Plant discipline and strength develops. High performance begins with high-quality thinking. If you wake up telling yourself the day will be difficult, you unconsciously prepare for struggle. If you wake up with intention and belief, you prepare for opportunity. Your expectations influence your focus, and your focus influences your results. Guarding your mindset also means protecting your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself shapes your performance. If your internal dialogue is harsh, doubtful, and critical, your energy weakens. If your internal dialogue is constructive, responsible, and forward-focused, your energy strengthens. You become what you repeatedly think about. A focused mind performs with clarity. A distracted mind performs with inconsistency. A fearful mind performs with hesitation. A confident mind performs with courage. The battle for success is first won in the mind. Long before the presentation, the competition, the negotiation, or the opportunity, you either saw yourself succeeding or failing internally. When you guard your mindset, you take control of that internal rehearsal. You feed it knowledge. You strengthen it with reflection. You sharpen it with discipline. You elevate it with purpose. Because when pressure rises, you do not rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your mental conditioning. Strong thinking produces strong performance. Weak thinking produces weak effort. If you want to elevate your results, elevate your thoughts. Protect them, train them, direct them. Because your thoughts are not harmless, they are powerful. And performance will always follow where the mind leads. Your results are not random. They are reflections. They mirror what you accept, what you expect, and what you demand from yourself. If you tolerate mediocrity, you will experience mediocrity. If you accept excuses, you will live with average outcomes. But the moment you raise your standards, your behavior must rise to meet them. Standards are invisible rules you set for your own life. They determine how hard you work, how disciplined you remain, how you treat people, how you manage your time, how you respond under pressure. Most people do not lack potential, they lack high standards. They aim low, then wonder why they land low. They accept minimal effort, then question minimal results. Your expectations shape your effort. If you expect excellence from yourself, you prepare differently, you think differently, you move differently, you hold yourself accountable at a higher level. But if your expectations are small, your preparation becomes casual and your discipline becomes optional. Life does not give you what you wish for. It gives you what your standards demand. Raising your standards begins internally. It starts with a decision. I no longer accept average from myself. That decision might not change your results overnight, but it immediately changes your direction. When you raise your standards, you stop negotiating with laziness. You stop justifying procrastination. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop settling for less than your potential. And that shift is powerful. High standards create pressure, but productive pressure. The kind that sharpens you instead of shrinking you. When you expect more from yourself, you stretch your abilities. You study longer. You practice harder. You refine your craft. You correct your mistakes faster. Standards influence identity. If your standard is punctuality, you become reliable. If your standard is preparation, you become competent. If your standard is discipline, you become consistent. If your standard is excellence, you become exceptional. Your results reflect this identity. The marketplace rewards those with high standards. Relationships thrive with those who refuse to lower their character. Opportunities gravitate toward those who maintain excellence even when no one is watching. But understand this clearly, raising your standards is uncomfortable. It requires sacrifice. It requires honesty. It requires confronting areas where you've been settling. Growth always feels demanding at first because you are stepping beyond old limits. Comfort says this is good enough. Excellence says there is more in you. When you raise your standards, you eliminate good enough from your vocabulary. You begin asking better questions. How can I improve this? What can I refine? Where can I grow? What must I change? And those questions elevate performance. If you expect discipline, you act disciplined. If you expect focus, you eliminate distractions. If you expect growth, you invest in learning. Your expectations silently dictate your habits, and your habits produce your outcomes. You cannot consistently achieve above the level you internally accept. Raise that internal level, and everything else begins to shift. Your effort intensifies. Your focus sharpens. Your resilience strengthens. Because when your standards rise, your excuses fall. And when excuses fall, results rise. If you do not pause to evaluate your life, you will repeat the same mistakes with greater confidence. Activity alone does not produce progress. Effort alone does not guarantee improvement. Without reflection, you can move quickly in the wrong direction. Every day gives you feedback. Some days give you wins. Some days give you lessons. Some days give you warnings. But if you do not take time to examine them, you miss the message. Reflection is the discipline of asking honest questions, not comfortable questions, honest ones. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short? Did I act according to my standards? Did I allow emotion to control my decisions? Did I move closer to my goals or drift further away? These questions sharpen awareness, and awareness is the starting point of transformation. Most people avoid reflection because it exposes weakness. It highlights inconsistency. It reveals wasted time, but ignoring reality does not improve it. Confronting reality gives you the power to correct it. Correction is not punishment, it is refinement. An athlete watches game footage to improve performance. A leader reviews outcomes to adjust strategy. A craftsman inspects their work to refine detail. Why should your life be any different? If you want mastery, you must measure. If you want growth, you must evaluate. If you want excellence, you must correct. Small, daily corrections prevent major future regrets. One honest reflection today can save you months of repeated mistakes. One adjustment in habit can change your long-term results. One decision to improve tomorrow based on today's lesson can shift your entire trajectory. Reflection builds humility. It reminds you that growth is ongoing. It keeps arrogance away and awareness strong. When you acknowledge where you need improvement, you open the door to development. And improvement requires action. Reflection without correction becomes overthinking. Correction without reflection becomes random effort. But when the two work together, progress becomes steady. At the end of each day, imagine holding a mirror to your actions, not to criticize yourself harshly, but to see clearly. Clarity creates direction. Direction creates focus. Focus produces results. Growth is not about perfection. It is about adjustment. You may not win every day. You may not perform flawlessly. You may not execute every plan perfectly. But if you reflect honestly and improve intentionally, you will never remain stagnant. Success is built in layers. Reflect, adjust, act, repeat. Each day becomes a classroom. Each mistake becomes a teacher. Each improvement becomes momentum. And momentum, sustained through daily evaluation and correction, turns ordinary effort into extraordinary progress.